gorgeous ghouls and freaky fiends. I'm Madame Crufeli, the Undead fortune teller, and I want to welcome you to the Horror Movie Awards, the only award show created by horror fans for horror fans. Over the past month, I have been counting millions and millions and millions of friggin' votes from horror fans all across the country. The results are finally in. So without further ado, on with the show. For many of us, our love of horror started at a very young age. We felt that initial rush of fear and curiosity, and I've craved it ever since. Each decade of horror has its own spine-tingling contributions. I'm personally a bit partial to the 70s because it gave us such greats as Halloween, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and my favorite horror movie of all time that still keeps me out of the water, Jaws.
We delivered the bomb.
Amityville was probably my favorite 70s horror film. It just absolutely freaked me out seeing that thing come out of the basement floor in that big puddle, and as a little kid, that just got me right there.
And now to announce the winner of the best 70s horror movie, Kristin Breiner as Annie Brackett from Halloween 1978.
Hello? Oh, hi, Paul. Yeah, I'm babysitting again. Lindsay Wallace. Actually, I just made some popcorn. They're about to announce Best 70s Horror Movie. Let's see. I think the nominees were Dawn of the Dead, Jaws, The Shining, Halloween, and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You should totally come over and join me. What? Well, I know you've seen them all. And I've seen all of you. Even though there's not much to see. Yeah, I'm just joking. Okay, but seriously, get over here and let's make our own Halloween screams. Oh yeah, you're about to announce the winner now. Okay, hold your horses. Let's see who the winner is. And the winner for Best 70s Horror Movie is Halloween 1978. Have a blast tonight, guys. Be safe on your own Halloween, and remember, speed kills.
The found footage film craze has given hope to amateur filmmakers across the globe. It has shown us in all its shaky, snotty glory that even on a shoestring budget, anyone has the potential to create some movie magic of their own.
I really liked Cloverfield because I saw that in theaters and it was intense listening to the movie in surround sound, and you really felt like you were in the city with all of that happening.
The Blair Witch, it really made what found footage is today. It kind of helped develop a whole subgenre of horror. I remember as a young kid going online on the Blair Witch website and seeing how it was designed to really make you think the filmmakers disappeared in the woods, and how what you're seeing is the actual found footage discovered in those woods. It made you think the Blair Witch was authentic and real, and that was genius.
Blair Witch 1999, the end sequence when they're down in the basement and they're like facing the wall, and you know, and you remember that they were talking about like, oh, that's how the witch killed people. You know, she would stand the children up against the wall and that's when she would attack you. That's when she would kill you. And then that's like the final thing you see in the found footage is like those two guys from the group, I forget their names, standing against the wall, facing the wall. You just know it's like, it's done. You're dead. The Blair Witch got you. Goodbye.
This just in. Our news correspondent, Scorpino, has a special report from the Black Hills Forest.
I just want to apologize to everyone that have seen really, really bad found footage films. I'm sorry if we made you feel dizzy. or nauseous, or may have even been bored to death. If you're watching this, it means I didn't make it out alive. So I don't have much battery life left. So before the camera dies, here are the nominees for Best Found Footage Film. The first nominee is Cannibal Holocaust, Paranormal Activity, Troll Hunter, The Blair Witch Project, Hell House LLC. And the winner is The Blair Witch Project! There she is, the Blairest witch in the universe. In all the galaxies, there is no Blairer witch than you.
One of my favorite subgenres of horror as of late has been horror comedy. Those cheesily delicious delights that feed you the awesome kill scenes with a snarky one-liner right after.
Groovy.
Tucker and Dale versus Evil. When I first watched that movie, I was so confused and I was just laughing constantly. And for me, I didn't even know that that type of blend and mashup was that possible. Some of my favorite scenes were pretty much anytime anyone was murdered, I was always scratching my head like, am I supposed to be scared? Am I supposed to be laughing? Like, what am I watching right now? But I did have a good time, and that movie is awesome. I do enjoy that.
My favorite horror comedy, I would absolutely have to say hands down, is Shaun of the Dead. These two guys with this, undying friendship that are just trying to make it through the apocalypse and trying to make it to the pub for a pint. I mean, that's friendship right there. So
What We Do in the Shadows. I love when he goes to give Peter lunch and invite him to the meeting, and he goes, Peter, and he's just there like, I love that. I just love that.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and ghouls, here to announce the best horror comedy is my good friend and avid horror fan, Mr. Reuben Vazquez.
The nominees for Best Horror Comedy are Return of the Living Dead, Tucker and Dale vs. Evil, Beetlejuice, Shaun of the Dead. And the winner is Shaun of the Dead.
Many wonder what awaits them when they die. A beautiful reunion with family members, or a fiery existence of punishment and hate, or even worse, an existence of hunger and decay where death is only the beginning.
Dawn of the Dead, George Romero, that is probably one of my favorite all-time zombie movies. These people are trapped in a mall with everything, and yet you're still surrounded by zombies. It's a fascinating story, I feel. It's simple, too. Very simple. But Dawn of the Dead, for sure, just takes the cake for me.
The main character first wakes up in the hospital and he's the only person left. I just thought that was so eerie because it just gave really that sense of what would you do if you were literally the only person left in that situation. So I think that's pretty terrifying, and I think it really sets the tone and the mood for how the rest of the film is gonna go throughout.
And now to announce the award for the best zombie movie, please welcome to your screens horror enthusiast and cosplayer Nniffer.
And the nominees for Best Zombie Movie are Shaun of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead, and Train to Busan. And the winner for Best Zombie Movie goes to what the heck? Really? Really? Just gonna pry this from your dead hands here. And the winner for Best Zombie Movie goes to Dawn of the Dead.
When there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth.
One of the favorite decades for many horror fans is the 1980s. It brought us such memorable classics as A Nightmare on Elm Street, The Thing, The Shining, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. For many of us, it's hard to choose just one.
When it comes to the 80s, my favorite series of all time is Friday the 13th. I could relate to Jason. I understood what Pamela Voorhees went through by the alleged death of her child. And then, I figured if I was a young kid and I drowned, my mother would probably go psycho and kill everyone that worked at the camp. And if I did survive and then saw my mother get beheaded, yes, you can rest assured that I'd be killing every camper and counselor that comes into that camp and taking care of my my domain.
Now, to announce the winner of the Best 80s Horror Movie. He's a staple at horror conventions and a master of his craft. Please welcome to your screens, Horror Show Jack Fangsmith.
Hey guys, Fangsmith Horror Show Jack here, and horror fan, to read off the nominees for the Best 80s Horror Movie, my personal favorite genre of horror movies, next to, of course, the classics. So we have The Thing, The Shining, A Nightmare on Elm Street, and The Lost Boys. And the winner is A Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm your boyfriend now, Nancy. Freddy Krueger, played by the infamous and awesome and very talented Robert Englund. And one of my personal favorites as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, step right up and feast your eyes on the best evil clown movies ever to hit the big screen.
In the movie Stitches, there's a scene where a person is killed and their head flies off. And their head is floating in the swimming pool. And then in the next scene, someone asks, have you seen this person, the person that was just killed? And they say, oh yeah, I think I saw him floating around somewhere.
And now, to announce the winner of the Best Evil Clown Movie, please welcome to your screens the fierce and fabulous Brittany Mercury.
And now for the moment you've all been waiting for, here are the nominees for the Best Evil Clown Movie. Killer Clowns from Outer Space, It 1990, It 2017, and Terrifier. And the winner is Killer Clowns from Outer Space, honk honk.
Sometimes a cinematic gem can slip through the cracks of popularity. Our next category celebrates those underrated movies.
My favorite underrated horror movie is It Follows. I like the soundtrack. It was by this guy called Disaster Piece. He did like video game soundtracks, and I feel like a lot of people don't get that movie. It's dumb. It's an invisible. It just walks at them. It's a walking invisible thing, and it plays dumb noises. But it's a really good movie. It's because you never know, it's shapeshifts. You never know if any of the characters are the thing that's following them or any of the background characters. So you're just uneasy the entire movie. It's like a clinical anxiety as a film.
And now, to announce the winner of the Best Underrated Horror Movie, please welcome to your screens, Virgil Cardamone.
89.3 Mahoning Drive-In Radio, your old friend Virgil here to announce the winner of the most underrated film as chosen by y'all. So we got some amazing nominees here, and the nominees are American Mary, People Under the Stairs, big fan, Night of the Creeps, starring our good friend Jason Lively, love you Jason, and Hatchet, directed by the great Adam Green. So let's do this together, guys. The winner of the most underrated film. And we should know a thing about underrated. These are kind of the underdog stories, and the Mahoning certainly is an underdog story. So let's see what we got here as far as our big winner. And the winner for most underrated horror film, The People Under the Stairs. Yes, you gotta love it, guys. Brendan Quinton Adams, star of People Under the Stairs, Mighty Ducks, Sandlot. You gotta love that. So thank you guys for having me, and enjoy the show.
Usually the horror host assumes a horror-themed persona, often a campy or humorous one. Generally, there are breaks in the film where the host comments on various aspects of the movie. Many horror host shows also include skits involving the hosts themselves, sometimes with a sidekick or other supporting characters.
Greetings, horror fans. My name is Albert Martin. I'm from the Nniffer horror community. The one character that I really loved was Commander USA. It was fascinating to me when I was young because he was a superhero, and every episode was shot from his secret underground lair under some New Jersey mall. He introduced and talked about the movies with such great enthusiasm. I still remember with great affection Commander USA. Jim Hendricks, I believe he passed away a number of years ago, but I don't want him to be forgotten. I don't want to say that Commander USA is like a life model for me, but one of the things I always take away from that is encourage people's enthusiasm about what they love.
So my favorite horror host, hands down, is Elvira, because it's just Elvira. But the thing that was kind of cool about it was the neighborhood that I grew up in Philadelphia was where she shot the intro to her TV show in Pretzel Park. And if you caught it on the right day, you could go down there and you could actually watch them film the intro.
Favorite horror host? Me, duh.
Joe Bob Briggs. I saw him up at the drive-in and fell in love with him.
And now to present the award for Best Horror Host, podcaster and horror enthusiast, Joe Gonsalves.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. My name is Joe Gonsalves, host of Any Last Words, and tonight I'm going to be announcing the nominees and the winner for Best Horror Host. And the nominees are The Crypt Keeper, Joe Bob Briggs, Rod Serling, and Elvira. And the winner is... Thank you, Freddie. Thank you, Freddie. Sorry, he's a little burnt because he wasn't asked to announce. And the winner is... the one that put the boob back into boob tube, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. Woohoo!
I am? Not an inconsiderable one at that.
Well, that's not how I thought it was going to go. Before the movie age of bright and vivid colors, there was only creepy and picturesque shades of gray. Many of us have had our first taste of horror in the form of black and white movies, from the universal monsters and timeless classics to the fun B-movies of the 60s. Black and white horror movies will always be a treasured piece of horror history.
Nosferatu! They do a lot of vampires that are highly romanticized and everybody thinks they're sexy. The thing with Count Orlok is that he's a complete monster. He has bubonic plague rats, he kills everyone in the town, and he's horrifying. And that's what I absolutely love about him, the fact that they didn't try and make him look sexy. Thank God for that.
Nosferatu, the original, silent. You had to watch the screen in order to see what they were saying. That's one of my favorites to watch.
My name is Rick Fletcher. I consider myself a horror enthusiast. I love horror movies. You know, Creature from the Black Lagoon, Dracula, The Wolfman, Frankenstein, those are like the classics. But yeah, I can't really pick just one.
My family watched a lot of the classics. We watched a lot of Vincent Price, Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, Bela Lugosi, Boris Karloff, Lon Chaney.
And now, to announce the winner of the Best Black and White Horror Movie, please welcome to your screens, shock host Maximum Overdorf Films, Maximum Overdorf.
And the nominees for Best Black and White Horror Movie are House on Haunted Hill, Dracula, 1931, Todd Browning's Freaks, Night of the Living Dead, Psycho, and Creature from the Black Lagoon. And the winner is...
And the winner is Night of the Living Dead.
I've always found it interesting how words on paper can magically transfer you almost anywhere. Our next category is centered around the King of Kings when it comes to horror novels, a man that has tapped into his twisted imagination and brought us a shape-shifting evil clown, a haunted lodge filled with shining guests of the past, an indestructible car, and man's best friend on a bad day.
The scene where he's in the shower and he's claymation for a couple seconds and he comes out of the drain pipe. I always thought that was creepy.
And now, to announce the winner of the Best Stephen King-inspired movie, please welcome to your screens, cosplayer and horror enthusiast, Cori, Cosplay Freak.
Tonight, I have the honor of announcing the Best Stephen King-inspired movie. So, here are the nominations. The nominees for Best Stephen King-inspired movie: the 1990 It, The Shining, Stand By Me, the 2017 It, and Kristin. So, I have the winner in here. So the winner, the Best Stephen King inspired movie, is The Shining.
Next up on our decade of horror journey is the 1990s. The 90s was a decade of a maniacal cannibalistic doctor, a homicidal crossdresser, teenage witches, a groovy boomstick-toting badass, hook-handed killers, and so much more. And now, to present the best 90s movie, please welcome to your screens my good friend and actor, Patrick Jacobs.
And now it's time for the nominees for Best 90s Horror Movie. Candyman. Or was you looking for Candyman, bitch? Scream. Live her alone. You get it? Live her alone. No. Okay. The Silence of the Lambs. Oh, Clarice. And Army of Darkness. Klaatu, Verata, Those are the top nominees. The winner for the Best 90s Horror Movie is Scream.
Movies don't create psychos. Movies make psychos more creative.
Scream. Best 90s Horror Movie.
Our next category is Out of This World.
The Thing. There's no better alien movie than that because it can be anyone, anything. Changes form, changes shape, and you never know. And it just always is that lurking, uneasy feeling and not being able to really trust anyone. That's crazy. I love that movie.
I want to go with Slither because the effects were just so gross and so creepy, and it kind of made your skin crawl. And it was an alien species that like attacked and multiplied. So I would go with Slither.
The Faculty. It's a great cast, a great move, great kind of whodunit, who's the monster kind of ish movie, and I absolutely love Clea Duvall.
Alien. 1979, Alien, Sigourney Weaver, Tom Skerritt, Ian Holm, Yaphet Kotto, and you got this like evil android Ash, you know, that's spitting up low-fat milk or something like that. And he was in this whole thing from the beginning. He's part of the company, and he wanted to bring back this species to Earth for studying. And I just love how they turned the events around and threw that in the mix with this alien on board. And the thing is, Ripley started off as kind of like a background character in a way, and we didn't know who was going to actually come out of this alive watching this movie, and it was an element of surprise when Ash was an android, you know, the alien itself, but Ripley came out of this as the hero.
The alien chestburster scene. I think that's so iconic. I absolutely love the terror and agony, and then when the little just comes out of the chest. I'm here to make my cameo appearance. It's just so cool. I love that scene.
And now, to announce the best alien movie, please welcome to your screens, Nniffer.
Hi, my name is Jen, or Nniffer, and I'm here tonight to announce the nominees for Best Alien Movie. And the nominees are Aliens, The Thing, The Rocky Horror Picture Show, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. And the winner for Best Alien Movie goes to Aliens.
You bitch! Our next category is dedicated to the amazing and lovable movie monsters. The creatures that amazed us with their size, their unique characteristics and abilities, their memorable roars and unique transformations. These characters were loved for not only their ferocity and brutality, but in some instances, we embrace them for the parts of ourselves we saw reflected in them.
I love Pumpkinhead. I remember being so terrified of that movie growing up, and it wasn't anything CG or cheesy. The practical effects of it and the costume design and the way that he was built and arched, and it was just so creepy, and the face. Pumpkinhead could have been really cheesy looking or not scary, but I just thought the whole design of that monster was incredible, and it was enough to terrify me as a kid and stay with me through adulthood. So Pumpkinhead has a very special place in my heart.
And now, to announce the best horror movie monster, please welcome to your screens my good friend and horror enthusiast, Miss Shauna Morrow.
Hello everybody, my name is Shauna, and I'm very happy to be here to be able to announce to you the nominees for Best Horror Movie Monster. The top nominees are The Thing, Frankenstein, Xenomorph, Godzilla, and The Creeper. And the winner goes to The Thing. No surprise there. Congratulations.
Our next category is dedicated to the baddest of the bad, the best horror movie villains.
Definitely Freddy Krueger, just because he's like the king of scary. And I love the way he played with his food, you know, and he teased them and he taunted them, and that's the worst torment that you could have, to drive these people completely mad before he just...
Hellraiser 3, and that is when Pinhead is inside the church, acting very blasphemous, by feeding his flesh, like the body of Christ, to the priest, and then acting like he is crucified. Yeah, that is pretty devilish in its own right. It's in a way of kind of poking fun of the Christian and Catholic religions. It's the epitome of kind of, I think, what Pinhead actually is.
Nancy the Craft, at the end, Nancy is just so badass and evil, and she's just gonna get Sarah. She doesn't give a shit. You know, so that whole scene where they're battling it out in the hallway, and like there's bugs and spiders and things crawling all over, and like Nancy summoned them. So totally Nancy, she's like a badass villain in that scene.
I shot him 6 times. I shot him in the heart.
My favorite killer is Michael Myers. He's just dark and mysterious, and he's creepy as shit, and he has the dark devil eyes, and you can't kill the boogeyman. Speaking of, I have a date with death right now.
I am very excited and slightly terrified to welcome to your screens the announcer for the Best Horror Movie Villain category. He is the epitome of the strong silent type, cosplayer and horror enthusiast, Mr. Bobby Amon. Sometimes one movie just isn't enough. Our next category is dedicated to the movie mashups that brought us multiple horrific delights. Please welcome Amy D, astrologer and horror enthusiast.
Best horror anthology nominees were Cat's Eye, Creepshow, Trick or Treat, Twilight Zone the movie, and Tales of Halloween. The winner? Trick or Treat.
comes in my mind. Please, if you leave, leave something good behind. In the kitchen, the tea is steeping, sun shining through the glass. Fruit ripe and juicy. It's not what I kept, it's what I'm keeping. Hang your jacket by the door, but only if you choose it. Is it solitude or loneliness, or the thing that insists? It brings us to our knees when we've gone too far astray. Tugs at our sleeves till we say, okay, okay, I know, I know, I know. Back home to myself I'll go.
Persecuted and nearly destroyed, the witch has long been both feared and cherished. The witch has been represented in many forms in cinema, from hideous and wart-covered to wicked and green, to teenage witches, practical margarita-drinking witches, and also to witches in disguise. But if there is one thing we have learned over the years, don't mess with a witch.
Definitely The Craft. I have a giant fear of snakes, and I think that if you didn't have a fear of snakes, it may have started with that movie. I'll never forget that scene, just all the snakes covered the house, the kitchen, the slow walk through. I just thought that that was like such an awesome scene.
I guess when she actually turns into her true form and she gets like the nose and the nails and all that reveal would have to be my favorite scene from that movie.
That is going to be Black Phillip. That's all I'm gonna say. Just everything with Black Phillip, the GOAT.
And now, to announce the winner of the Best Witch Movie, please welcome to your screens, Kristin Breiner as Winnie Sanderson.
Greetings on this glorious All Hallows Eve. I'm Winifred Sanderson, and Madame Crufeli has asked me to introduce to you at the Horror Movie Awards the Best Witch Movie. So, let's see what our choices are. Oh, let's see. Best Witch. Who could it be? Ooh, I'm excited. All right, our choices are Suspiria. I've never heard of that. Sleepy Hollow. I've been there. All it is a bunch of awful big trees. The Blair Witch Project. What's her project? I don't understand. Rosemary's Baby. Is that an ingredient? Ooh, I hope so. Love babies. And The Craft. Witches, of course we use The Craft. What else would we be using? So, let's see who the winner could be. It's strange that the Madame chose me to introduce to you the Best Witch, because we all know who the Best Witch is now, don't we? Don't we? Don't we? Don't we? Well, I always was Father's favorite. He said I was very gifted. So, let's see who the winner is. Oh, the winner is The Craft.
Now is the time, ours is the hour, ours is the magic, ours is the power.
Well, there you have it. The Best Witch movie. And I wish all you little demons a devilishly wicked good Halloween. So, come, we fly!
What do you get when you combine a wolf, man's best friend, and an actual man? You get a howling good time.
Wolfman's got nards.
Wolfman does indeed have nards.
Silver Bullet, Stephen King's Silver Bullet with Gary Busey. That was a favorite growing up as a kid. It just stuck with me.
I love werewolves, so American Werewolf in London is also just fabulous.
My favorite werewolf movie would be An American Werewolf in London because the transformation scene is so iconic. No movie has beaten it since, and I love his friend is just like dead.
Can I have a piece of toast?
And now, to announce the best werewolf movie, please welcome to your screens, JT Mills.
Hey, I'm JT Mills, production manager at the Mahoning Drive-In Theater, and I'm here to announce the winner of the best werewolf movie. And the nominees are The Howling, Ginger Snaps, An American Werewolf in London, and Silver Bullet. The winner is... See you next Wednesday, a non-stop orgy. I mean, An American Werewolf in London.
Have you ever had the feeling that you're being watched? Or that someone's standing right behind you and you turn and no one's there? Ghosts have often been depicted in films over the years, some being friendly and loving, and some a bit more ominous and destructive. Ghosts may command the help of the living to cross over, or may be angry due to an untimely or unjust death. Either way, one thing that ghost movies have taught us is that sometimes dead is better.
Poltergeist the clown scene. I love clowns. I'm not scared of them, but it was just so cool how it like wrapped its arms around the kid's head and he's like screaming for air and awesome, and like the tree in the backyard.
You moved the tombstones, but you left the bodies!
My favorite ghost movie would be 13 Ghosts. And why? I mean, they just have so many great backstories to each and every ghost that's in that movie. And it's just hilarious if you look at the remake and look at the original one, because they're totally different, and the original one's just so funny and cheesy with these little pop-up 3D skeletons. And
now, to announce the winner of the best ghost movie, please welcome to your screens paranormal explorer and creator of Mondo Docs, Mr. Lawrence Milano.
I am thrilled to announce the winner of Best Ghost Movie. But first, to help me announce this, the winner of this amazing category, I'm going to bring in my colleague, Alfred the Ghost.
All right, thank you, Lawrence. Well, let me announce, first off, the nominees for this category of Best Ghost Movie. The nominees are The Conjuring, Poltergeist, 13 Ghosts, Beetlejuice, and Ghostbusters. And the winner of Best Ghost Movie is 13 Ghosts. Because of course it is. It was a movie that shaped the early 2000s, and it's amazing. But there's only one true ghost that matters, and it's me.
Thank you, Alfred. You did well. You did great. You did good. Get out of here. Disappear. Anyway, yeah. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of the ceremony.
Computer-generated imagery, better known as CGI, is the process of creating still or animated visual content using computer software. Since its creation around the 1950s, CGI has been a huge asset to filmmakers. The first film to incorporate computer-generated imagery was Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo, which was released in 1958. Since that time, it was used in multiple films. Sometimes the CGI effects work to enhance the film, but sometimes The CGI effects were a bit, how should I say, cheesy.
My favorite cheesy CGI movie is Night of the Lepus. There's just giant bunnies that kill people. It's just superimposed bunnies jumping around and eating people, and then half the scenes when the bunny gets too close, it's a dude in a mascot uniform coming out at the people.
And now, to announce the winner of the Best Cheesy CGI Movie, please welcome to your screens, Scorpino, the Human Scorpion.
And the nominees for cheesiest CGI horror movie are Cabin in the Woods, The Mummy, Sharknado, Lake Placid, and the winner is Cabin in the Woods.
If I had a dick, this is where I'd tell you to suck it.
Scream queens come in many different types and personalities. From the timid and the meek victims to the kick-ass and take-no-prisoners final girls, Scream queens have been and will always be an important part of the horror genre. And now, to announce the best Scream queen, please welcome to your screens, Nniffer as Baby Firefly.
I'm Baby Firefly, and the nominees for Best Scream Queen are Danielle Harris, Barbara Crampton, Linnea Quigley, Jamie Lee Curtis, and Sherry Moon Zombie. I think we have all the answers right here. I'm a star, and stars always shine. And the winner for the Best Scream Queen is... Jamie Lee Curtis! Well, what did he do?
Our next category has been around since 1922, when the film Nosferatu appeared in theaters. Since that time, vampires have appeared in many forms: the romantic and sophisticated type, the shape-shifting, and my favorite, the ravenous savage vampires.
There's an unholy trinity for me, if you will. Fright Night 1985, The Lost Boys, and From Dusk Till Dawn. They all have something a little extra in the writing that makes them stand out to me. Fright Night is Alfred Hitchcock's Rear Window meets Dracula. The Lost Boys is vampires by way of Peter Pan. Maggots, Michael. You're eating maggots. How do they taste? And From Dusk Till Dawn is a heist movie for 2/3 of the movie. Were they psychos? Psychos do not explode when sunlight hits them. I don't care how crazy they are.
From Dusk Till Dawn, just because that shit was wild.
Interview with the Vampire. Not just because I love me some Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt, just because I love the time period. Like, I loved reading books that were always centered around that time period. The actors in it were amazing. Kirsten Dunst was amazing, especially for her age. Just Anne Rice is an amazing novelist, and I thought the movie was well based from the book. Yeah, it's just I don't think I've ever met anybody who didn't like The Interview with the Vampire. It's just it's a great iconic vampire movie. So
John Carpenter's Vampires from 1998, because we always kind of see, normally, it's been a little more normalized, them as like these characters who can be kind of sweet and, oh, they do this, they do that. In that movie, they're just straight up savages, which to me, if you're a vampire, you're not as nice and sweet as I think they've been portrayed on screen. In that movie, they're portrayed as savages. They're straight up, we're here to kill. We need this, we need that. This is what they're here for. Carpenter did great with that movie.
And now to announce the best vampire movie, the man who has fanged celebrities and horror fans alike, Mr. Horror Show Jack.
Hello again, horror fan Horror Show Jack here. Here to read off the best vampire movie. And the nominees are The Lost Boys, Fright Night, From Dusk Till Dawn, Bram Stoker's Dracula, Nosferatu, and Near Dark. And the winner is The Lost Boys, one of my personal favorite vampire movies. Probably my favorite vampire movie of all time. You'll never grow old, and you'll never die, but you must feed. I hope everyone has a great Halloween.
And now, to announce the winner of the Best Horror Movie Director, Mr. Patrick Jacobs. And now, for the category of Carnage. Slashers are and always have been a huge draw for fans of the horror genre. There is just something about a creative kill or large volumes of blood and carnage that leaves you thirsting for more. No one is safe in a slasher movie, not in your car or in your house or even under your bed. The only one that may be safe is the Virgin. But what fun is that?
Terrifier. I feel like that's all I have to say and everyone would know what scene I'm referring to. You know what scene. As a woman, I feel very uncomfortable talking about that scene, but it's, again, if I was in that situation, holy hell, that's scary. So I'm talking about the scene where the woman is, that's just, she's upside down and he takes a little weapon. This is gonna be the weapon, and she's upside down and he, not with a foot, but
when Rose McGowan tries to get through the doggy door in the in the garage door, and then the garage door comes up and kind of smushes her, because I don't think people ever thought about anything like that before. Like, hey, what if you get stuck in the doggy door and the door just kind of it was very gnarly to watch. So that was one of my favorite scenes from a slasher movie.
And now, to announce the winner of the Best Slasher Movie, please welcome the creator of Slasher, the social network app for horror fans, Mr. Damon De La Greca.
Hey everyone, thanks very much for checking out the Horror Awards show. My name is Damon De La Greca, and I created a mobile app called Slasher. It's the social network made just for horror. Tonight, I'm here to present you with the best slasher movie. The nominees are The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Friday the 13th, Sleepaway Camp, and Halloween. And the winner is Friday the 13th.
Not everything in this world is pure and innocent. Sometimes, darkness finds a way to latch onto someone and make them do unspeakable evil acts. Our next category is dedicated to the movies that show us the true evil of demons and possession.
Dead silence. I think it because the ghost of a ventriloquist is possessing is stealing their voices.
The Evil Dead. Because it is, and always has been, the best example of you don't with demons.
Drag Me to Hell, the parking lot sequence when the gypsy woman attacks her and just goes like totally crazy. So I would say, but she's not really possessed and she's more a witch. I don't know, but I just love that sequence because clearly the old woman is like, something's off with her. She seems possessed and she like attacks her. So I would say that.
And the nominees for Best Demon Possession Movie are Demon Knight, The Exorcist 3, Evil Dead 2, The Shining, and The Exorcist. Next up, announcing the Best Demonic Possession Movie, my good friend, horror enthusiast, and devilishly delicious, Michelle Ms. Hell Ronca.
Well, hello, fellow horror movie fans. Miss Hell here, and I am so honored to be a part of this award show. And when the madam reaches out, well, you just don't say no. Anyway, there's been a lot of great nominees in this year's award show, and all different kinds of genres, 80s, 70s, comedy, all of it. It had it all. And I am just so honored to be a part. I mean, who wouldn't be? Anywho, my job here today is to announce the favorite demon possession movie. I mean, who better to do so than moi? Anyway, it had my vote. I am so happy that it won because of all the demon possession movies, and I love them all. This one is the best of the best. Hands down, it's timeless. Anyway, the winner of the best demon possession movie is, drumroll, The Exorcist!
Oh, is that soup? I think good soup.
Our next category is dedicated to the horror movies that brought us the memorable creatures to the big screen.
Greetings, fellow horror fans. I am Stefan, the Sewer Shark, and I have the distinct pleasure of announcing the winner of the Best Creature Feature Horror Movie. But first, the nominees are Pumpkinhead, Godzilla, Gremlins, The Thing, oh man, they're my personal favorite. And the winner is... The Thing!
I'd like to thank you for watching and being one of us tonight and always. Much like Todd Browning's Freaks, we are the misunderstood, the outcasts, the unique, and together we are the Legion of Horror Freaks. See you soon.